I'm going to talk a bit about the benefits of peer tutoring in general. There have been a significant number of studies that have explored the benefits of peer tutoring, both within, like inside the classroom environment, peer workshop, in-class collaboration, but also in terms of different age group tutoring, which is kind of what we offer, where older, more advanced students tutor the younger, less experienced students. So I'm just going to do a quick summary of the benefits right now. If you want to know more about, you know, like I said, the research that goes into this, please do contact me and I can share some information with you. Next slide, please, Artie. So some of the benefits for the students who use the tutoring centers, first and foremost, they get free individualized help on their schoolwork. I think anybody here probably knows that private tutoring is not cheap. It's not an option that every family has because it can be really pricey. So just the fact that we offer this service for free to all of our students is pretty nice, and it's a very inclusive. It allows all students to have that access to individualized tutoring, which I think is really important. Secondly, they have mentorship from older students. Like I said, we have kind of an age difference between our tutors, and or at least a skill level difference between our tutors and the students who use the tutoring center. And unlike with in-class collaborations where students are working with their classmates, the people who are in the class with them, the tutoring centers offer, allow students to work with those older students who've already, they've taken the class before, they've probably done the same assignment before, oftentimes they might have even had the same teacher, so they can really kind of guide and mentor younger students through the process of succeeding in these classes. A really important issue, I think, is that it reduces feelings of isolation and stress. Oftentimes when students, I'd say maybe even most of the time, when students are struggling, they feel very alone in that struggle. They're intimidated to reach out to their teacher because they don't want to let their teacher know they're struggling. And these tutoring centers offers them an easy way to just kind of reach out to fellow students and ask for help. And it also creates there's an increased sense of community. I know I've been seeing a lot recently in my learning networks about how teachers and schools are really struggling to build that sense of community in the online environment. And this is one of the ways that we do that. It's a really successful method to start building relationships between students and building up that sense of community as when they are available to help each other. Next slide. So we already said it in the title, there's an old quote, to teach is to learn twice. Tutoring is just as valuable for those students who choose to tutor as it is for the students who are receiving the tutoring. First of all, it deepens their understanding of their subject. Research shows again and again that students who are required to explain or teach a concept, they utilize higher order thinking skills and they gain a much deeper understanding of the subject that they're tutoring in. It also allows them, this is, I think, so important, it allows them practice in using kind and respectful language when providing feedback and criticism. I think we've all had, not just in school, but even as adults, I think we've all had people who have given us criticism in an unkind way and kind of shut down communications because they mean well, but they don't know how to offer that feedback and criticism in a kind and diplomatic way. And this really allows the tutors to practice that skill of, not just identifying what needs work or what skills need to be addressed, but doing so in a way that the student feels supported and encouraged because of their kind and respectful tone. And finally, it gives them the opportunity to work on a student-led team. They utilize a lot of their cooperation and leadership skills when they're in the tutoring centers. Our tutoring centers are student-led. Artie and I actually try and take as much of a background role as we can. So this is really an opportunity for them to work together as a team and cooperate to make their program successful. And finally, next slide, I'll talk a little bit about why tutoring centers are so effective online. Maybe people are here right now who typically work at a brick and mortar school. We're always online, so of course we do everything online. But I think tutoring centers are something that really work well online, even if you are in a brick and mortar campus. Far fewer resources are required to run a tutoring center online. You know, if you're in a brick and mortar and you're trying to set up a physical learning center, you have to find the space to do it, right? And you have to schedule the space and time to do it. Whereas if you are setting that tutoring center up online, you don't have to find that space. Scheduling can be a lot more flexible. You're not constrained to just the school hours. Students can meet asynchronously, and if they do meet synchronously, they can determine what is the most convenient time for them to meet. Finally, I find that with our online tutoring centers, there's an increased visibility. We automatically just enroll all the students in the school in the 2 tutoring centers, right? They don't sign up for it. We're like, here you go, you're in the writing center, you're in Math Mentors. So even if they choose not to use that service, it's always visible to them. They can always see what's going on in the writing center, see what's going on in Math Mentors. And I think that alleviates some of the intimidation factor that causes students to not utilize these resources, is they're just afraid of the unknown and they don't want to take that step. But when they can visually see on screen, like all the other students who are taking advantage of the tutoring centers, I think that's a big incentive for them to go ahead and take the leap and try it themselves.